Because today, I'm going to tell you the story of a man who changed the world not with luck, not with power, not with privilege, but with relentless persistence. A man who turned darkness into light. A man who failed not once, not 10 times, but thousands of times, and still refused to quit. That man was Thomas Alva Edison, and his story is the purest definition of never give up. He was born in 1847 in a small town called Milan, Ohio. He wasn't a genius child. He wasn't born rich. In fact, as a boy, he was labeled slow. His teachers said he was too stupid to learn anything. Can you imagine that? The man who would go on to invent the electric light bulb was once told he was too stupid to learn. But here's the thing about great people. They don't let the world define them. They define the world. When his teacher gave up on him, his mother didn't. She pulled him out of school and said, "My son is not slow. He just learns differently." That one belief, that one spark of faith, changed everything. Edison began to teach himself. He read books, experimented, failed, broke things, built them again. He was curious about everything. That curiosity became his power. He once said, "I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious." He worked as a newspaper boy selling papers on trains. But even then, he turned his workplace into a laboratory. He built a tiny lab inside the baggage car. He wanted to learn, to create, to understand. But one day, an accident destroyed his little lab. Chemicals spilled. A fire broke out. He was thrown off the train. He lost his job. He could have given up right there. But Edison didn't stop. Because people who believe in purpose never surrender to failure. He once said, "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time." And that's exactly what he did. Years passed. He invented small things, telegraph improvements, voice recorders. Some worked, many failed. But his eyes were always on one dream: to create light from electricity, a light that could last. At that time, people laughed. They said it was impossible. Scientists had tried and failed. The idea of lighting an entire world with electricity sounded like madness. But Edison didn't listen to the laughter. He listened to the voice inside him that whispered, "Try again." He built a lab in Menlo Park, New Jersey, the world's first real research lab. There, he and his team worked day and night, testing materials, running experiments. Do you know how many times he failed before creating the light bulb? 10,000 times. When a reporter asked him, "How did it feel to fail 10,000 times?" Edison smiled and said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That one line changed history, because it proved that failure isn't the end, it's just data. Each failure was a step toward success. Each mistake was a lesson. Each no was a doorway to the final yes. In 1879, after thousands of failures, the light bulb finally shone. It wasn't just light in a glass bulb, it was light for the entire world. Imagine that moment. A man who was once called stupid, standing in front of a glowing invention that would brighten the planet. That moment wasn't about electricity. It was about belief. Edison had turned failure into fuel. He had turned pain into power. He had turned persistence into history. He once said, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." That's the truth most people miss. Everyone wants success, but few are willing to sweat for it. Edison wasn't lucky. He was relentless. He woke up every day and went to work with the same question: what can I learn today that I didn't know yesterday? That's why he became one of the most successful inventors in history, holding over 1,000 patents, from the light bulb to the phonograph to the motion picture camera. But even after his success, life tested him again. In 1914, when he was 67 years old, a massive fire broke out in his factory. Flames destroyed everything: his lab, his machines, his records, his years of hard work. It was all gone. His son, heartbroken, ran to him and said, "Father, everything's burning." You know what Edison said? He smiled and said, "Go get your mother and all her friends. They'll never see a fire like this again." Can you imagine that level of strength? Instead of crying, he looked at destruction and saw wonder. He told his son, "It's okay. All our mistakes are burned up. Now we can start fresh." That's the mindset of a true winner. Within just 3 weeks, Edison rebuilt his entire lab, from ashes to innovation. That's what never give up truly means. You see, boss, life will test you. It will knock you down, burn your dreams, make people laugh at you, and tell you you're not good enough. But every time you fall, you get 2 choices: give up or get up. Thomas Edison chose to get up every single time. So ask yourself, what are you going to do when life hits you hard? When your plans fail? When people don't believe in you? Will you stop? Or will you look failure in the eye and say, "Try me again"? Remember Edison's words. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. You might be just 1 step away from your light bulb moment, but if you quit, you'll never know. Every great invention, every dream that changed the world came from someone who refused to stop trying. The Wright brothers failed countless times before flying. Einstein was called a failure in school. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Elon Musk almost went bankrupt trying to launch rockets. But they all had one thing in common: they didn't give up. And that's the difference between ordinary and legendary. The world doesn't remember quitters. It remembers the ones who kept moving when everything said stop. So today, if you're tired, if you're struggling, if your dream feels too far, remember Edison. Remember the man who turned darkness into light because he refused to quit. He proved that persistence beats talent, that effort beats luck, that consistency beats genius. And most importantly, he proved that the world belongs to those who try one more time. You have that power too. Your failures don't define you. Your determination does. So the next time you want to quit, remember this: every failure you face is not a wall. It's a staircase. And if you keep climbing, you'll find your light. Because success doesn't come to those who never fail. It comes to those who never give up. Thomas Edison once said, "If we did all the things we are capable of, we would literally astound ourselves." So go, fail, learn, rise, repeat. Because the light you're searching for might be just one more try away.